お疲れ様です。こんにちは。カルロスです。Hi, and welcome to the first unit of the Keys to Start section of the JLPT N1 and N2 reading comprehension course. Today, we're going to be dealing with noun suffixes. The objectives for this lesson are 2. Understanding how suffixes change meaning in advanced level Japanese texts, and correctly identify and translate long kanji words. One of the things the students struggle the most is understanding very long kanji words. In general, they understand that the general meaning, the overall meaning of the word, is conveyed by the last one or the last two kanji in the word. For instance, we have here a series of 6 words. 3 are derived from the original words. At a JLPT N2 level or N1 level, you should be able to read these words very, very well. Would you be able to let me know what the meaning is for these 6 words? You've probably guessed them all right. Here we have 教科, school subject, and 教科書, so writing of a subject, therefore a textbook. The same things applies for 文化 or 文化祭, and 警察 and 警察書. As a bonus, do you know the kunyomi reading for 教科の教? Oshieru. How about 教科書の書? Kaku. How about 文化の科 for JLPT N1 takers? This is 化ける to change and transform. How about 文化祭の祭? For everyone? This is 祭り matsuri. You should probably know that the kei in keisatsu no kei is a phonetic radical, the part on top. So all the kanji that include this first top character are going to be read kei, like the word sonke, respect, that includes the same kei as a phonetic radical. Also, the satsu in keisatsu is a phonetic radical, the same phonetic radical that we have in sai, even though it's being a little bit modified. Instead of sai, it is satsu. What is the general take on the lesson? So whenever you see a long word, try to divide it into chunks you understand. And to do this, use logic and the vocabulary that you already know. And remember that the meaning of the word will be started with the kanji or kanjis at the end of the word. Here we have a fairly simple N2 level text. We will be tackling the whole text in a lesson later on. Today, what I'd like you to do is to understand the overall meaning of these words here written in red. Probably the first thing that you should do is make sure that you know how to read all these words. There are no words that no JLPT N1 learner wouldn't be able to learn, and maybe just one that a JLPT N2 taker might not know, which is on the first 2 words on the second paragraph. Those are read 法務研究任務大臣. This nin is the same nin as in 責任, responsibility. First, have a look at these words. Do you know what the overall meaning is for all of these words? Let's start with the first word. You read this word, 最高責任者. What are the chunks that we can divide this word in? Well, probably 最高 and 責任者. 責任者 can also be divided into 責任 and 者. All JLPT N1 and N2 takers should be able to understand these 3 chunks of words. 最高 the highest or the best, 責任, responsibility, and 者, person. We know that it's the last kanji or last kanjis that give the meaning. So here we have 責任者, so 者, person, responsibility, highest. Person that has the highest responsibility. So like the boss in this case. We should also know what the kunyomi for each of these 5 characters is. Let's see if you can guess them. I'll give you some time. Sai is mottomo, as in mottomo takai, the highest. Takai is also the kunyomi for the second character. How about sekinin? N1 learners should be able to read the kunyomi of this character. Sekinin no seki is semeru. Semeru means to blame. That's why sekinin means responsibility. Semeru, with a different kanji, also means to attack. Nin is makaseru. Makaseru, to leave it up to somebody. Makasete kudasai, let me do it. First and last, the last character is sha. The kunyomi for this character, as both JLPT N1 and N2 takers should know, is mono. Mono means person, but it's kenjogo, so humble language. We can use it to refer to ourselves when we're talking to people of higher status, as in Fujitsu no mono desu. I'm a person from Fujitsu. I work for Fujitsu. How about the next word? Would you be able to divide it into chunks? The correct way to divide this word would probably be 警察庁長官. We know 警察庁, very similar to 警察署, like we had. 庁は department. 庁 is also the little part inside the ceiling in 警察庁の庁 is a phonetic radical that appears in words such as 二丁目, the second street. So here we have 警察庁, police department, and at the end we have 庁, which is boss of, and then 官. 官は a person with responsibility. So 警察庁長官, the highest person, the highest ranking person at the police department. Let's also remember that 長官の官 is a phonetic radical that appears in words like 図書館, library. You should probably also know the kunyomi for 長官の長, which is 長い, long. The third word has only one suffix and it's very, very easy. Here we have ビヨルン男子. She means Mr. So, and it's a way to address people of higher status, usually in texts or the news, like トランプ氏, President Trump, or Pedro Sánchez氏, President Pedro Sánchez of Spain. If we continue, we have again 警察庁, so Department of Police, and the next word. Could you read it? And do you also know the kunyomi of the third and fourth character of this long word? As you probably guessed correctly, this word can be divided into 警察, 保安, and 庁. We know that the meaning is carried out with the last kanji, so department of something. The next word that we have is 保安. 保安 means safety or security. And why is that? Well, do you know the kunyomi of 保安の保 and 保安の安? 保安の保 is 保つ, to keep or to preserve, and 保安の安 is 安い, which means cheap. 法案の案, or this character, the character for yasui, has a particular feature that the meaning in the ongyomi and the meaning in the kungyomi are different. The meaning of the ongyomi means safety or security, like anzen or anshin. However, the kungyomi means cheap. So let's be careful when guessing words that have this character. Probably if it's on the ongyomi reading, it's going to be something related to safety and security, like we have here, hoan. Let's go into the next word. It is fairly long. Would you be able to read it and divide it into chunks? We do have a bit of a hint here. We have a period that's usually used to convey spaces that don't really exist in Japanese. But here, because we're talking about a foreign someone, we do have the point. So the first division is very simple. Home. Then we have kinkyu. Then we have nimmu. And then we have taijin. What is the individual meaning of all these words? We should know taijin. Taijin wa minister. Then we have nimmu. Do you know the kungyomi for nimmu no nin and nimmu no mu? To guess the meaning of nimmu? Nin, we know it's makaseru. Makaseru. Like, makasete kudasai. Let me do it. And then we have mu. Mu is tsutomeru. Tsutomeru has very different meanings depending on the kanji that we use. For this particular kanji, tsutomeru wa to serve, like to serve in a position of power. Tsutomeru with a different kanji, like the kanji in doryoku no to, doryoku effort, so that tsutomeru is to make an effort. And then we have the other tsutomeru that you guys probably know very well, which is to work at a company, kaisha ni tsutomeru, with different kanji. So here we have makaseru and tsutomeru, meaning to serve. Nimmu wa appointed or assignment. So minister, assigned, or minister of the assignment of what? Then we have kinkyu. We know kinkyu. Kinkyu wa emergency. We also know the kungyomi for kinkyu no kyu. It is isogu, to hurry. Finally, we have home. You probably know home no ho from horitsu, law, and home no mu from, well, the character that we just covered. It's also the one that we use in 例えば jimusho, an office. So mu means something like fair or to serve in a position, and then ho is law. So home, legal affairs. So here we have the minister appointed to emergency and legal affairs. Second, we have a word that is structured in the same way that we have with biyorun danshi, which is toru mikeru barashi. So again, a name of a person that holds a certain position. And later on, we have the word before last in the second line of the third paragraph. You probably can read it right away. It is 警察内. 警察内. You know that the kunyomi for nai is 内, within. So here we have a very easy word to guess. Within the police. 警察内. Finally, we have not a suffix, but a prefix in the last word. Would you be able to divide it into two chunks? The chunks that we need are moto and shokuba. Even though this word is fairly, we learn it at the very beginning of, when we start learning Japanese, shokuba, workplace, it might be a little bit distressing when trying to read it because it mixes both ongyomi, the shoku, and kungyomi, ba. And here, because we have a prefix, It might confuse us a little bit and we might not know how to read it. But this is indeed 元職場. Moto means ex, as in ex-president, 元大統領, or ex-prime minister, 元首相. So here we have ex place of work. So the former or the previous place of work, 元職場.